Good morning, everyone. It is Saturday, which means it's time for yet another Salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Matthew Kadish, the belabored producer of the Salty Nerd Podcast. And joining me today is our fantastic panel of nerds, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Vader 74 with his fancy camera. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. I'm staring at people. It's really strange. No, I'm great, man. It's a Saturday morning. I always look forward to doing this. That means I have to set an alarm to get up because I'm a fat, lazy bastard. But, whatever. It is what it is. Another week, man. So, yeah.
As always, he's here. He's queer. He's our representation, our shield. And he's looking forward to Black History Month. Brian from the Popcast. How you doing, buddy?
My favorite month. Good, brother. Good. Vader is freaking me the hell out right now. The eyes thing, it makes me feel like I need to look at him. And it's like,
isn't that what it's supposed to do?
Oh, I don't like it.
For those of you who don't know, Vader is using a special piece of software that uses AI technology to make him look like he's looking at the camera, even though he's really not. So his eyes are totally fake right now. But looks good. Looks like he's actually engaged for once.
For once,
with other stuff. Yeah.
I'll be reading a comic book.
He's like this. Imagine he's holding the book and still looking at the camera.
Still looking at the camera. Yeah.
Let's try it. I'm gonna read this box.
I'm surprised you have something to read there because you don't read.
Oh, you're funny.
It's not working.
No, all right. Whatever.
Well, if you held it close to the camera, it would work.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes. And returning yet once again to the show, the man with two first names, John David, the author of the Morgalla Chronicles. Thank you for joining us again today, John.
Hey, thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the Morgalla Chronicles and where people can find out more about them?
Well, Morgalla, I got the hashtag here, MORGALLA. You can try to check it out on morgalla.net. You can look up the hashtag and all the major social media. It's basically, in essence, to sum up all what's going to be 4 books. I just got the second one coming out, and then on February 21st, it is basically an alien invasion story where one of the aliens happens to be on our side. So, and she happens to be a demon. So,
aliens and demons, you can't go wrong with that combination. Yeah. So speaking of not going wrong, Tom from Midnight's Edge is set to join us. It just depends on when he's able to get over here. So hopefully he'll hop on as we get going. And unfortunately, Odin has his own member stream going on today, so he wasn't able to join us like he usually does.
How dare he?
Yes, I know. But he will be back next week, at least according to him. But with Odin and Tom, they're so important. We just kind of have to, roll with the punches. So let's go to the chat and say hi to everyone who's joined us. JT Gunn is in the chat. Anthony Mark, good to see you, Anthony. Always a pleasure. Mr. Farnsworth is in the chat. Gavin Blackburn is here. Mark Davis, Keely Chow, Joker Voice, who's already dropped a few super chats, which we're going to get to in a second. Hashtag keep talking. Dr. Shadow Dragon is here.
Ooh, that's a cool name. Dr. Shadow Dragon.
Dr. Shadow Dragon.
Like
Low Spec Linux Laptop is also in the chat.
That is not a cool name.
Along with Darth Maul. Mark Burns is here. Mighty Orbots is also in the chat. Danny's mom Penny joins us as usual. So we got a nice little crew in the
what is it? Low spec Linux laptop.
Linux.
Okay.
Linux laptop.
All right, cool. That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So real quick before we get started, we do want to let you guys know that we really appreciate all your super chats and all the support. And in order to celebrate that, we also have our little top donator thing here. So we got Bob Dorsey, Scotty Dubb, and the Astro Nerd Boy. They're all in the $100 club. Mr. Dorsey is our top super chatter. He has donated the most money in a single super chat, so we really appreciate that. And we also want to give a shout out to our top donators, Joker Voice, who's always been very generous with us, and Fluffy Panda, and of course our top patron, Backyard TARDIS, who has dropped us a number of super thanks over this past week. We really appreciate those super thanks, Nicks. Not enough people use those. unfortunately. We might have to have like a separate thing for super thanks on our live streams. But we really appreciate you guys. And if you want to have your name up here somewhere, just drop us $100. It's that easy.
Or more.
Or more, yeah.
I mean, I don't think $100 does it anymore. It goes up. It goes up every time somebody beats it. So yeah. But yeah.
$100 or more.
$100 or bust, yeah.
Let's do this. Let's go boom. Go ahead.
All right, Joker Voice for $5. More Fleabag between her and Freckle Jesus. How many buried bodies do they know about? Hashtag keep talking. Yeah, Freckle Jesus is the girl who was in
Everything.
This Nest in Solo. She was the bad guy in Falcon Winter Soldier, and she was the lesbian warrior in Willow.
She ticks all the check boxes, right?
She ticks every checkbox.
She's like a weird mixed race redhead. So yeah,
I can't stand that actress. She doesn't pull it off.
Yeah,
she's not a very good actress. No. Joker Voice for another $10. Thank you, Joker. Disney announces new chairman of the board. 6 days later, Marvel gets its ban in China lifted. Color me shocked. Kevin Feige got a new pair of knee pads. Lots of chapstick. Hashtag pucker up, Kevin. Hashtag keep talking. Actually, like I think Bob Chapek. Not Bob Chapek, Bob Iger. Sorry, I get the Bobs confused. He had like deep ties to the surprise, Chinese Communist Party, and so they really liked him, and he was able to kind of like negotiate with them straight up and get them unbanned and all that stuff. Now that he's back in charge, so we'll see. You know, the companies really like to do the Chinese bidding.
Oh, hello, Bob. Okay, Bob, you take your pants off and go in the other room. We'll be right in there.
Yeah, let's get out a few seconds of like Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, kiss. That didn't happen.
Can't have two women kiss on screen.
Anything they put in there that's going to represent that stuff, they make it so it's easily edited out, depending on where they're going with it, right?
I just found it really funny that all the Black Panther posters, he had to have his mask on the entire time.
Yep.
And then when Wakanda Forever came out and all the characters didn't have masks, like one of the posters was just the one white guy in the movie. It just said forever.
Oh, wow. I still haven't seen that. It's not on streaming yet. So
I have no interest whatsoever.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah.
I haven't even had a chance to see Avatar yet. So I'm behind on my movie watching.
But it's the most popular movie ever made, Matt.
I know it made like $2 billion.
I don't know anybody who's actually seen it. I don't think, except Joker, maybe. So, and I don't think you liked it.
I have the same problem. I don't know anyone that's seen it. I've had people being like, people have been asking me, "Hey, you know where I can pirate this?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't know where."
Conspiracy Tom actually saw it.
I feel like there's some shenanigans afoot with this movie.
Right. The word of mouth is so strong, yet we are literally exist inside of a movie community of people that never went to go watch that movie.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Very, very weird.
I'm at the age where I can't go to a 3-hour plus movie in the theaters. I need to be able to watch it at home.
I mean, I will admit,
because you're incontinence, is it?
Yes.
Kadish
it's a real thing.
Kadish did send me no less than 3 different texts at 3 different times asking me if I wanted to go waste my life watching Avatar. And I said, no,
I can't find anyone to go with me.
No interest. I said, nah, I'm out.
Do I want to go watch the NVIDIA benchmark test for 3.5 hours? No, I'm good.
I have more fun playing with my eyeball things on this.
Yeah, I can just stay home. That's what Vader just said. I can stay home and play with myself.
It's it.
Exactly.
It is it.
All right, guys, you ready to get to the topics of the day? All right. So first and foremost, we're going to be talking about Velma and how Velma is considered to be one of the worst shows ever made, and yet it is killing it in the ratings.
Dude, I've watched episode twice. I love it.
Yeah, so we have this article from the Wrap Pro, and because it's pro, it's behind a paywall, so you can't read the whole thing unless you subscribe.
There's only one more paragraph down there. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But basically,
there's one more paragraph, and half of it is with the author.
Yeah.
So I wish Tom were here for this one because he has a lot to say about Parrot Analytics. But Parrot Analytics, basically, they're kind of like an analytics firm. They're kind of like Nelson, except like they measure a lot of like social engagement and stuff like that to try to determine whether or not a show's successful. And basically, even though Velma has been getting slammed by both critics and audience reviews, it's seen a 127% surge in viewership. And a lot of people are speculating that this is like just people like you know how you like slow down by a car crash to like see the carnage. It's like people have heard that it's so bad they want to experience it for themselves. And so like, you know, you're seeing like a huge uptick in people actually watching this show, but I don't think that extends much past, you know, the first episode. But they're saying that the 127% increase in demand for the show proves that it is a hit for HBO Max. And Vader, you actually watched this show, so why don't you tell us? Do you think that this is an accurate story?
No, I think it's garbage. I do get the rubbernecking thing, and it probably is exactly what this is. I watched the first 2 episodes. I actually live streamed it with a couple of our patrons in our Discord, and I'm still getting some hate for that, for them not being able to push the end button. But it is awful. It is really bad, and I think the spin machine on this thing is just going crazy. I mean, you look at like sites like Rotten Tomatoes, and I think it's got like 45% on the critic side and 6% or something on the viewer side. But then you look at it, and only like 30 critics have bothered to actually make an actual review of this thing, because all the wokies they know it's bad and they won't make an honest review of it. So they just say, nope, I'm just not going to make a review.
Right.
So, you know, and it's really a bullshit show. It's awful. I don't know what else to say to it about it. It's just bad. I mean, I watched it and I said, I have no reason to watch any more episodes of this show. And I didn't. And I kind of just put that in my head and forgot about it after I watched the first 2 episodes, because they both came out at the same time. Because you know me, I like to have some context for these shows before I'm not the kind of guy who just doesn't watch something and say it sucks because it's supposed to be woke. I need a little bit of proof. But man, this thing.
I mean, but that's smart.
Yeah,
bro. That's what you should always do.
Right, and this thing just took a big old bucket of sewage and just threw it on everybody. It's awful. Yeah, there's no reason to watch this show, and I don't think any fan of Scooby-Doo would look at this thing and just say, "Nope, I'm out." After the first 2 episodes. Well,
cartoon boobies, bro.
Not interested. That's not what Scooby-Doo's about, man. If I want that, I'll go watch Adult Swim or something, and that's where this belongs.
Just saying. You ask for reasons to watch it. That's one reason I can give you.
I don't need cartoon teenage boobies. That's it. I'm out. I want cartoon boobies that are of age. Okay.
Are they not of age?
They're high schoolers.
Listen, I'm 53 years old. It just seems weird to me. Okay?
Nowadays, like everyone to me seems like they're underage. So
I know I feel weird watching cartoons anymore, almost a little bit as it is, but you know, it's okay. It's who I am.
Well, I'll say this, Vader, your arguments carry so much more weight when you have so much eye contact going with them.
I know, right?
It's like you're looking right into my soul. Crazy.
Thank you,
John. Yes. John David, have you watched Velma, and what's your take on this? Do you think that the surge in viewership is basically like people hate watching it because they just want to see how bad it is, or do you think that people are actually tuning in and watching throughout the rest of the series?
Well, first of all, no, I have not seen it. Before everyone started doing reviews on it and actually giving reasons why it's bad, and actually, showing us numbers, I looked at the trailer and just thought, I don't want to watch this at all. The whole point of a trailer is to entice you to watch your show. And even if this was 100% original, all these characters original, had nothing to do with Scooby-Doo. It's my understanding that it would still be bad because of all of what the people have been saying about it. And no, I haven't watched it. I'm not going to watch it. I have no interest in it. And I think the people who are watching it are just like, whoa, really? Everyone hates it? Is it that bad? Okay, let me watch at least one episode. So this article is saying hooray, we suck, but we still made money somehow. Well, no, I think in the long run you're still gonna end up losing money. And the amazing thing is that I heard they got a second season.
Did it really?
I
haven't heard that yet.
Unless somebody changed their mind, says, you know what, too many people hate this. No one's gonna watch season 2. So we spent money on it. We'll put it out there for people to watch. Oh, look, 127%. Yeah, they're gonna realize how much it sucks and just tune out. So.
Well, Brian, HBO Max has been really kind of ruthless in what it's been cutting. We got a story later on in the show where it talks about some of the DC shows that are going the way of the dodo. So I'd be surprised, like, if they actually did a season 2 of Velma, considering like all like the bad press it's been getting. But if they see 127% surge in viewers and the ratings are like, oh yeah, people are watching this, then I could maybe see that might be a justification for a season 2. But what do you think?
I think that Perry Analytics is sort of a BS measurement, though, because the engagement that it tracks could be negative engagement, which is what the majority of it has been. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be people watching it. It can be people,
hashtags,
hashtag dunking on it on Twitter or whatever. So it's not like Nielsen ratings where it's actually tracking like general views via Nielsen boxes and families. It's more like, let's measure the trending of this particular topic and then apply a score to it. And things can trend for a lot of negative reasons, which means that's not going to translate into subscribers or viewers. So,
real quick, we got another super chat. I'm going to call that one up. From JT Gunn, Late Night with Cap, for $2. Happy Saturday, nerds. Happy Saturday, JT. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the super chat. All right, guys, let's talk about Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Tomb Raider. So this was actually some interesting kind of like news that I came across, which is basically that everyone's favorite feminist android from Star Wars, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, is prepping a Tomb Raider TV series for Amazon. And she had like an overall deal with Amazon where she did her show Fleabag, which won her a bunch of awards, got her a lot of attention. That led to her being cast in Solo and the Indiana Jones movies. And so she's got a relationship with Lucasfilm. But basically, what this article says is that she's taking over the Tomb Raider IP. She's going to be producing and writing the Tomb Raider TV show. But she is not going to be starring in it. So it's kind of like a Killing Eve situation where she basically gets the show up and running, but she's not involved in front of the camera. And I'm actually, I'm not as hard on Phoebe Waller-Bridge on the writing standpoint because, I think that she's actually a pretty good writer. I'm not a big fan of her acting. But she's actually got a couple shows going on at Amazon. But this is the big one because this is the one that young men grew up watching, and so they're wondering, hey, is this going to be woke? Is this going to be feminist? Is this going to make us hate men? And we've already had 2 incarnations of Tomb Raider for the big screen, the biggest of which had Angelina Jolie in it. Mm-hmm. So, Brian, what do you think of this news? Do you think that this could be a good show, or is it going to be more woke garbage?
Actually, I think that behind the camera writing, she's not a bad writer. I don't like her entire look whatsoever. For like these action stars, when you first said that, I was like, great, Indiana Jones, and now Tomb Raider, looking like a trend here. But no, I know like everyone doesn't like her, but I think she could be a good writer, and it depends on how they do it, obviously, and it also depends on who they cast. If they cast some like androgynous, short-haired, 13-year-old Dora the Explorer or whatever, I'm gonna have a problem. Like you gotta cast. If you're making a Tomb Raider, try to make it look like the character in the game. Doesn't have to have like giant square pixelated boobs or whatever, but like make it, celebrate the feminine qualities of the character, and don't give us some murdered out.
I always get a kick out of the Tomb Raider stuff because people try to make it some big feminist icon, right? But here's the reality of the thing. Tomb Raider was made so 13-year-old boys could watch a nice ass and boobs jiggle around while they shot stuff in caves.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
that's what it was for.
That's what Tomb Raider is.
She's
not a feminist icon.
While looking at boobs. Yeah,
it's like, wow.
Let me tell you something.
Look at that.
It's
That's
the perfect
amazing.
game for a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah. So I just get a kick out of all these people trying to make her like a feminist thing because she's not. She's the exact opposite of that.
Well, I mean, maybe she's not a modern day feminist icon, but that would be a classic feminist. If you're celebrating the feminine qualities of something, that she's feminine.
It's like if Tomb Raider was a dude, it wouldn't have made near as much money.
No,
I'm just saying.
Well, it was called Indiana Jones.
Exactly. But that's not what this was.
Real quick, we got a super chat from our $100 member club.
Certainly do.
Member Scotty Dub for $50. Thank you so much for the generosity, Scotty. Really appreciate it. Aloha, gentlemen, and the ladies in the live chat. I really enjoyed earlier today the Demolition Man episode, which was great on so many levels. Thanks for all you do. Yes, on the main Salty Nerd podcast channel, we released our Demolition Man review, and I can remember showing Vader the final edit. He got a real kick out of that, some of that stuff. But it's scary how accurately it's predicted, kind of like cancel culture, woke culture, PC culture, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's wild.
It is crazy. We talked about all that in our review, but that was a fun one.
Yeah,
I think. And
Scotty,
and it's weird. Yeah, it's weird because we've scaled back to one episode a week because we're trying to get our studio all set up and stuff like that. And normally we're putting out pieces of content like 5 times a week or whatever. And so now that we've lightened our workload a little bit, we've been putting a lot more emphasis on the stuff that does get released. It just feels weird. It feels like we're not putting out enough content, but at the same time, the content we do put out gets a little bit more attention. So we appreciate that. And we also got a super sticker from Gavin Blackburn for 99 cents or 99 shillings or pounds or whatever that is. Thank you so much, Gavin. Always appreciate your super stickers. All right. So John, so we've seen situations like, for instance, Reacher, where we had a couple movies and then they took that character and made an Amazon original series that was not only more faithful to the book, but better than the movies were, arguably. I happen to hate Lee Child, so I wasn't all that impressed with the Reacher show. But do you think that this could be a situation where basically moving it to a TV show format and giving a notable female writer and producer who's made good stuff in the past the reins, do you think that this could be a recipe for success for Amazon?
It could. The thing is that movies aren't doing as well as they should as right now. Granted, there's, for every Top Gun Maverick, there's another film that doesn't do very well, or there's another film that gets scrapped. The one cool thing about TV and streaming and all that is that you can tell broader stories. And I mean, you can have an entire season and just really delve deep into characters, into multiple characters. So this could be a really good thing. It's based off, now granted, it is based off of a video game. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be good. It can be really good. It's just a lot of things based off video games have been bad, have been weak, that sort of deal. I really hope that it is good. I mean, Laura Croft got a bit of a makeover though. She was a little bit less eye candy, even though she's still, she's still played by an attractive actress. And I just really hope that it is good. I really hope that he just focus on, a really good story. They give her some flaws. They don't make her indestructible, and I think it'll do well.
So Vader, the key to getting Tomb Raider right is the casting. Who do you think would be good for the TV series version of Tomb Raider?
I haven't got a clue, dude. I really don't know. I like the last actress that was in the last movie. I thought she did a fine job, and there's nobody out there that's really giving me Angelina Jolie vibes right now. So I'm really not tuned into all the new actors that are out there. So I would have to like actually research this a little bit. So,
well, what
I
are
don't
the
know.
odds that they'll turn her into a lesbian and cast a black female actress?
Oh, I think if they did that, I don't think they're quite well. I was going to say I don't think they're quite that dumb, but they probably are. It wouldn't shock me if they did something like that. But,
If they don't cast Isabella Merced, I'm gonna be upset.
I'm sorry, who?
Who's Isabella Marcet?
I don't know who that is.
She is not the now adult, but she played Dora the Explorer.
Hmm.
I'm just saying she's an
Yes.
attractive adult. She's a decent, actress, and it would be hilarious because she was Dora the Explorer. You can actually connect the universes, right?
She was in Sicario.
I'm going with Ezra Miller. Archmage is correct.
Ezra Miller would make a fantastic Tomb Raider.
Ezra Miller in a wig.
Oh, and Tom Cruise nuked my account is in the chat. Hello, Tom Cruise nuked my account. How you doing? Yeah. All right, guys. So I honestly am kind of looking forward to this, but it all really depends on the casting and the writing, as usual. So we'll see how it goes. Amazon can get things right occasionally, but we'll see. I like Killing Eve.
Didn't she write the James Bond movie, the last one where he actually died?
Yes.
Well, screw her. She doesn't know what's going on if she kills James Bond. So who knows?
I don't think that was her decision. I think the producers mandated that, and she had to work it into the story.
The family that owns James Bond is acting real weird lately. It's like they got like some kind of infection, some kind of like weird liberal infection, and
it's like the young generation took over.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Is that really what happened?
Yeah, I'm assuming the older people died out. Now the younger people are in charge, and they're just making really poor decisions. Like,
no, what happened was Barbara Broccoli took over. It was the guy's daughter who got control of it, and she's been running things. Of
course,
making those decisions.
But she's been running things for a while, hasn't she?
She has. I mean, I think she was the one who. I think she started with the Daniel Craig era.
Yeah.
I think that was like her whole thing, but she was the one who basically, made all the shot calls during Daniel Craig's run as James Bond. Now they're talking about getting a new one. We'll see who they cast for that. Mm-hmm. But since we talked about Tomb Raider, let's talk a little bit more about video games. And we got some news that there are some massive game journalist layoffs. Wah, wah, wah. Couldn't happen to a nicer group of people. Mm-hmm. So basically, there's this article out where it talks about the Washington Post, which is owned by Jeff Bezos, is shutting down their gaming vertical, is what it's called. It was a section called Launcher. And this is basically coming amid announcements of wider layoffs at like GameStop and a couple other places that specialize in gaming news. And basically, all these game journalists are now unemployed, and they're like, what's going on? Why aren't people reading our stuff? Why can't we get money for spouting BS over games that we don't actually play? This is coming off of the heels of the G4 shutdown and all that other stuff. So Universal axed that. And it's just kind of interesting to see the landscape of game journalism right now, because you had the whole Gamergate thing like a couple years back, and game journalists have basically gotten a bad rap for being anti-gamer, and most gamers like they don't read newspapers or anything like that. They're busy playing games. Now, Vader, I know that you're a longtime video gamer. Have you ever heard of Launcher?
No, never heard of it ever.
Yeah,
but I don't keep up on my game news because game journalist, that term just kind of makes me raise an eyebrow. It's funny.
Journalist.
Yeah. There's a couple websites out there that I kind of like touch on a couple times a month to see what's going on, and other than that, I don't really have time to play games, so I don't really keep up with it. But I definitely feel like the whole gaming scene is in a bad spot right now, and it's mostly because of the G4 stuff. I mean, they just wreak havoc, and now with what's her face and dipshit leaving the
Frost and Adam.
Sessler. You know, they just blew a freaking nuclear hole-sized hole in the world and jumped through it and said, "I'm out." And it just makes me laugh. You know, there's nothing else really to say. They didn't even play the games that they were reviewing. So who cares if they're gone, right? You know, and I don't really think these people that they're laying off at this thing, whatever this was, played many of the games either. I mean, it's just a thing. I mean, there's a lot of terrible websites out there.
The funny thing about Launcher, by all accounts, it was actually like a pretty serious game journalism thing, kind of in the vein of Jason Schreier, where they would dive deep into, like, you know, the development process of certain games and kind of like try to break scandals and you know, abuse and things of that nature. So the actual game reviews were kind of like a smaller part of this thing, but so many people hadn't heard of it because you had to be subscribed to the Washington Post to actually read it. And no one subscribes to the Washington Post because it's garbage.
Right.
Yeah. So
also
John,
subscribing to news.
Yeah.
See, Denny's got it right. Gamers don't read. They don't. I agree.
So John, you know, one of the big shifts in game journalism, like back when I was growing up, I had like my Nintendo Power subscription where I'd get like a magazine every month talking about the new Nintendo games and having like game guides and cheat codes and stuff like that. And so like before the internet, there was like this heyday of like game journalism in the form of magazines and things of that nature. Nowadays, people just go on YouTube and they follow their favorite YouTuber who either plays the game or does, you know, something kind of like Layman Gaming does, where they're or Skill Up Gaming, who basically does these really amazing in-depth reviews of games, and you can kind of make your purchasing decision based off of that. So why do you think game journalism even needs to exist nowadays in the heyday of user-generated content?
Well, the thing is that Frost and Adam Sessler didn't necessarily were the only reason why G4 crashed. It was primarily the reason was because, as you noted, there are people on YouTube who actually play the game, who actually sit through for hours as to why this is cool and why this is not cool, and just do all that. And to which gaming journalism, I think they were thinking backwards when they relaunched G4. They weren't giving us anything new. They weren't giving us anything that other people weren't doing. And guys, you had a huge budget, so I really don't understand how they were able to do that. So game journalism, and yeah, I remember I was big into Mortal Kombat during the 90s, so I was really big into reading all about that. And I remember all the magazines that you mentioned. And game journalism, it's really just not there anymore, to which you're competing against people who are on YouTube and the like.
You know, PC Gamer's still out there. I used to actually read PC Gamer, but that was back, you know, in the 90s. But that was also back, you know, when they could put bonus stuff in a floppy disk on the inside cover, and you get all kinds of cool stuff to infect your computer with. What just happened to Matt? We just lost him. But yeah, man, I'm completely lost now. PC Gamer was a thing back then, and you know, and that's what I think of when I think of games journalists. And you know, and G4 TV back in the day was really cool too, because they actually covered gaming and pop culture and stuff, you know. And when G4 came back, they were basically just trying to do the same thing everybody else was doing on YouTube out of their bedrooms, but not as good. You know what I mean? They didn't have that passion anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Like I said, they have a bigger budget. You guys have a studio.
Yeah.
An entire army of people to write content and all that. And was it Frost who admitted we don't actually play these games? Huge mistake. Whoever the hell said that? Wait a minute. Are you just reading somebody's some stuff that somebody else wrote for you?
Frost was the worst, aside from their super bloated staff and their misuse of that entire gigantic budget. Frost ruined the G4. They refused to see how toxic she was, and they kept her on until it was just too late. The plane was hitting the ground and no one could pull up anymore. Not to mention Sessler is a absolute insufferable douchebag.
He just went on a weird ranty black hole. He just went charred Earth and bailed, said, "See ya, I'm out." Okay. It was really strange. I don't know what happened to Kadish. I should probably go look out and see if there's like smoke coming from his part of town. I could probably see it from here. It's very strange for him to just drop like that out of the blue. I sent him a text to see what's up. He hasn't gotten back to me yet. Maybe their internet went down or something. I don't know. It's very strange. Real quick, we got a $1.99 super sticker from 52 Movies a Year. Call of Duty DMZ is fun, Vader. Vidar. Spelled it wrong. But Vidar. Yeah, I like that's kind of a cool orc name for a World of Warcraft or something. Or maybe it's more of an elvish name. I don't know. But I don't have time to play games like Call of Duty anymore. I always try to play some games, and I always end up just barely touching it, and then I have a bunch of other stuff to do, and then I don't play again for 2 weeks. So it's very frustrating. I just kind of put the games to the wayside. I spend $40 a year during the Steam Christmas sale, pick up 5 or 6 low bin games, and I never play them.
Yeah, same here. You have no idea how many Steam games I have that I haven't even installed, bro.
I know. That's cool.
Every time there's a Saturday where I can play, Dota or Counter-Strike or something, every time it's like, oh, nope. Got to edit a video.
Yeah.
No. Oh, got to work. Like, there's no time.
So yeah, the gaming world's in a weird spot right now, and it's at least in my circle, because it's just the G4 implosion just kind of tainted everything in a weird way.
Yeah. So, well, the game's journalists were already tainted from the whole Gamergate thing.
Yeah. I do, however, enjoy, there are some gamers out there that are doing well, and they're having some good times, like Az over in Heels versus Babyface is playing The Witcher a lot and stuff. Quarter Black Garrett, a lot of the Geeks and Gamers crew, they're doing a lot of gaming stuff, which is cool, and I'm glad for that, because we need some gamers in there. So I don't know. We're filling airtime now. Where the hell happened to Kadish? What's going on? Matt, Brian, are you still there?
I'm here.
Are you deserting me?
I do not know what happened to Kadish. You live near him and have his phone number. He didn't respond to you?
In a minute. No, I don't think he has yet.
I'll just call him. Like, yo, Matt.
It says his StreamYard crashed and won't reload. My computer took a dump on me. Going to have to reboot. So we're wasting time for him to reboot.
Matt's rebooting.
Time
for some filler.
But look at this. Denny Wright comes in with a $19.99 super chat. As always, I appreciate the Salty Nerd's work. Your effort and humor is great. Who is the Salty Nerd audio video person? I know Jude is a voice creator. Generally, what mic audio interface do you use? Well, let me see. So Jude and me are both color people, and Jude does do work. She does do her voice acting. She's been doing some books and some I think she's actually even doing a little bit of video game or something like or a live action comic stuff work. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we'll have Jude come in and explain exactly some of her projects, but she's keeping busy, man. And it's really cool. It's been really fun watching her grow her voice acting gig, because, she just completely changed careers when we started doing this thing, after we all got laid off from the hotels during the furlough. Jude was like, I'm done. I'm changing careers. And she went to voice acting school, doing these seminars and stuff here in town. And she's been doing great. And she's starting to get bigger and bigger things to do. So it's fun. Voiceofjude.com. You can get caught up on all of her voice acting stuff, I believe. Kadish produces the show. He's in charge of all the audio video stuff. The basement, the Mangold basement studio is actually in his living room.
Yeah.
He created that for us. Yeah. It's actually really fun. And, it's just if you watch our shows, you've been able to watch it evolve and grow, and now we're moving the studio into an actual professional studio space that we're building right now. We should be in there in a couple of weeks, so that's going to be super fun. What mic and audio interface do we use? Brian, you know the answer to that? Didn't he say?
Well, it looks like the newest mics he's using are the Fine Fines, but he also uses Elgato's, right?
I'm not sure. It's not. I don't think we use Elgato's in the basement.
I know in the basement, you guys use a bunch of smartphones. It's very clever
for the video part. Yeah,
for the video portion, and those little Rodecaster Pros.
Rodecaster Pros is our current setup. Yeah. And
the smartphone thing,
the voice of Jude.com is where. Yeah. So the only problem where he's having is he when with the wire connectors with our camera interface, for some reason we go through a lot of connection wires and it's really tiresome. So it's always roll the dice when we get there every Tuesday to record. So what kind of mood Matt's going to be in and see how many wires he's had to replace this year.
Sometimes the wires don't work for the smartphones.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with I do a live setup for a community center, and they use it's all old school production setup, right? So it's all like HDMI patched cables and all that. And dude, the patch cables die. Like HDMI is not really a very solid connection. So like I can buy the 4K, cables, but they got a hair up their ass, and all of a sudden, like this one cable out of like 30 just don't work, and you have to trace them all. And the previous guy that was running that shop, he wouldn't even trace them. He'd be like, "Oh, we have an error. Pull all the HDMI and replace it with brand new cables." So like once every few months, they were spending like over $1,000 on these 4K HDMI cables because finding the one that was bad was such a headache.
Yeah, and we got another super chat here from Mr. JT Gunn. He can tell I'm struggling right now. Do I need help, Vader, for $2? Brother, I always need help. Kadish actually hosts the Saturday morning show because I'm terrible at it. I can't do it, and he does all the work. And that's just what Kadish does. He's really a very organized guy, and I am not.
I think you're pretty good at it. Let's boot up Warcraft and start playing.
We're gonna play a game stream.
We're gonna stream Warcraft now.
We're gonna play. Yeah. Hey, while we're filling time, John David, why don't you give us another plug of your projects? What do you got going on, bud?
Oh well, I got 4 books written, and one's already out. The Savage Peak, Part 2, Diary of a Lonely Demon, comes out on February 21st. And we're really excited. I'm certainly excited for it. They're already working on the editing of book 3, so they definitely want to get that out pretty soon as well. And I can't wait to see the positive reaction. I already got some really positive reactions for book 2, and I'm thrilled. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Hey, I got a plug. I put a video out on Friday night, super late.
Yeah, what's it about?
It's the Galaxy Quest, the definitive history. An hour-long doc about Galaxy Quest, and it is getting no views because I put it out at midnight on a Friday. Not a good idea.
That's strange. What do you have on the thumbnail?
Just
is it a picture of your ugly face? Because YouTube does not like ugly bearded fat.
It's just a picture of me. And it says Galaxy Quest, and Quest is misspelled. History. It looks shady. It looks like I'm trying to steal someone's money.
Yeah.
No, of course not. No, it's Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I'm getting heckled by. I don't know if this is Alex or if this is Kadish right now. I think it's Alex because he says I'm hosting right now, but I'm doing a terrible job. I'm terrible, and I bring that up because
he's so shifty looking.
I know. He says, check out the new SMP YouTube shorts. That is correct. We do have more shorts coming out that we are putting out every single day. And the reason I mentioned that earlier is because it's stop it.
That's what it looks like, bro. This looks like.
I'll turn it off here in a minute. But
it's freaking me the hell out, man.
If the shorts thing is I'm getting a complex because you know how it makes its own when you do a short, it kind of creates its own title, its own starter thumbnail page, right?
Yeah.
So there's been he's put out 6 of them in the last 3 days.
Jeez.
And there's 2 of them with my face on them, and there's 2 of them with Jude's face on them, and 2 of them with Alex's face on them. The 2 with my face on them both have 40 and 50 views. The other ones are all 15, 16, 1700.
Yeah. So that's called
clearly
they're A/B testing your face and their
clearly
face.
this is not bringing in the clicks, and it's really funny.
You know what though? As soon as the Bears get here in June for Gay Pride Month, you're gonna get views on views on views,
man.
bro. You're like prime daddy material in that community.
That's funny.
You don't fucking us.
Yeah, it's weird. Right? Yeah, Danny checked out your video. He said it was really good. Guys, go check out the Galaxy Quest video over at Pop Guys. I can't even do it. Popcast. What is a podcast? Ryan,
I'll put the link in the
chat. Yes, please do that.
Go check out the video.
Oh my God.
Let's see, Cowboy Bebop creator.
Yeah, we can do that one. So the problem is Kadish has all this stuff already queued up. I do not.
Oh,
so he just pushes a button.
And it brings
so I gotta share my stream and everything. We can move on. I just gotta figure out how to do it. See, this is where I'm bad about this.
Hey, also hashtag free the quartering. Hashtag free the quartering.
Hashtag free the quartering. Go ahead, Brian. Take it over while I figure this out.
Yeah, here's the deal. If you guys don't know about this, good guy, Jeremy the Quartering, whether you agree with him politically or not, he's a good dude. The guy works his butt off. I don't know how anyone can put out 3 or 4 videos a day. I struggle to put out a single clip from a live show. But Jeremy's awesome, and he's always been really, really kind and really generous to our community. Like I said in one of our shows, we were literally looking for some help when we had 3,000 or 4,000 subs. Now we have 107,000 subs. But back then when we had 3,000 or 4,000, Jeremy responded to an email. No one else did. By the way, people that we have now surpassed in subs that have no problem talking to us would not talk to us back then. But you know who did? Jeremy at 200,000 subs at the time. Now he has 1 million plus. He responded with a really well thought out email and showed us exactly how to deal with sponsors, how to get them, how to price them out. Really nice dude, and was always super communicative, even though he works clearly super hard. And now he's been banned from Twitter. He was banned from Twitter for sharing a link to a video that's been public for almost 7 years. And no one is answering him. So hashtag free the quartering. Whether you agree with him politically or not, he shouldn't have been banned. Eliza Blue is an absolute douchebag. Twitter is making a massive mistake by alienating a person that has been nothing but complimentary to their newest administration. So hashtag free the quartering.
Yeah, and it's not just quartering anymore. It's Brittany Venti, and there's been a few other people that have gotten sucked up into this as well.
Right. I don't know any of those other people. I know Jeremy.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild. I think I've got this figured out. I think I just got to go to settings. Oh wait, no. Shit, man. This is how old people YouTube guys. Present. Share screen. And we'll
John.
Go over here and share.
So
here we go.
While you're doing that, Vader, your eyes are like this.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. So let's move on to another topic. Kadish will be proud that we actually did another topic. We probably have 4 people left in the chat. Original Cowboy Bebop director shut off Netflix's live action remake after one scene when he watched it. How's that sound? It's clearly not Cowboy Bebop. Let me read a little bit of this. Is a pretty short article. Netflix's 2021 live action comedy or live action Cowboy Bebop remake was canceled after one season and 10 episodes. A big failure for what was supposed to launch a blockbuster new series for streaming platform. In the new interview, Shinichiro Watanabe, who served as the original director of the Japanese series, said he stopped watching the live-action Netflix remake after just one scene because it didn't feel like the anime classic he helped create.
Wow.
Does this surprise you guys?
No, I had such a hard time getting into the live action version, and I was a massive fan of the. So here's the deal: I do not like the Japanese style of artwork.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to cartoons, I don't like it. I feel like it's like very pan and scan. I don't like the fact that it's very low FPS. I know a lot of people like it, and more power to you. It's just for me, I like the Western artwork, but it's not because I'm Western. It's because I like the detail, right? Some people like the simplicity. I do not prefer it, but Cowboy Bebop was such a good cartoon story-wise. Couldn't get enough of it. So when they were making live action, I was like, hell yes. Then I saw the casting of the girl in the show, and it, I was like, she better be a great actress because she doesn't look the part. And then even though I liked the main actor, I was like, he's never done action. How is he going to pull this off? He did okay, but the story was really weak. The whole thing didn't feel like Cowboy Bebop. It felt like a YouTuber made like a fan video for a Cowboy Bebop with his girlfriend and his friend from the gym. That's what it looked like.
Right.
It looked like a YouTuber made like some kind of like fan Cowboy Bebop short. And it just didn't work. And I couldn't continue with the series. It wasn't fair. It wasn't good.
Yeah. John, you got any comments on this?
Well, I'm not surprised whatsoever. I mean, I think it's like, I'm forgetting the guy's name, but he wrote Bonfire of the Vanities. And one author to another. He made a movie adaptation of Bonfire of the Vanities starring Tom Hanks, and apparently he hated it. And he refused. It's the only book that they ever adapted of his, and he refused to work with Hollywood again. He says, "Hey, we want to adapt this book." Hang up. Don't even bother. And he told his agent, they're from Hollywood. I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
They can kiss my ass and that sort of deal. And I don't blame him at all for not liking it because they're different as apples and oranges. To which, if it was an original thing, maybe it would have been good. And I completely understand precisely where he's coming from. They took something that was his and kind of butchered it. I don't know. We're gonna make it better. Yeah, right.
Kind of like what they JJ did with Star Trek, kind of thing, maybe, or it's like let's make it a little bit different for a modern audience or something.
Modern audiences, and just it's okay. There's modern audiences, but will it be Star Trek? And I will say that it's better than it was better than Discovery. When it comes to Star Trek, it just feels like all the optimism and hope that Gene Roddenberry had for the human race is gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. But Cowboy Bebop. I didn't watch the series, and I watched the first episode, and it just to me it felt like there was something just lost in the translation from the anime to live action, and there was some cool effects and everything, but it seemed off, and I think that's kind of what everybody else kind of felt too. It just wasn't the way it was supposed to be. It's like sometimes not everything has to be converted to live action. A lot of people prefer the animation, and don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Anime needs to be left alone. Sure, Battle Angel was pretty good. I did like Battle Angel. I thought that was a pretty good adaptation. But for every one Battle Angel, how many Cowboy Bebops are we going to have?
I like the Alita movie too. But that was probably because I had absolutely no. I'd never watched. I'd never read the anime or I get my stuff mixed up. So anime is
animation.
Manga is the See, I was not familiar with Alita prior to the movie coming out at all. So I really appreciate the movie, and I hope it gets a sequel. I know there's still a fan effort out there trying to get that going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Cameron and who's the director? Yeah, I think they're down. I think they're interested in doing it from the little bitty things that I've seen and heard, but I think just time will tell, you know. Brian, you have anything more you want to add to this?
No, I just I'd still want a live action version of that show. I just really want it to be done. And I know what you're saying. Some things don't have to be live action, but we've already seen like a pseudo live action of Cowboy Bebop, and it was called Firefly.
Yeah.
Or the movie Serenity.
Yeah.
We've seen it already. Like, we've seen what it can do. And one season played out of order on a network that no longer exists in the same way spawned a franchise and a fandom that has lasted more than 20 years almost, and still to this day has conventions. What a massive success in hindsight that Firefly has been. So you've already done it. So like, do it again. The template's already there. The story's already there.
Did you guys watch a Ghost in the Shell?
I did.
Now, how would you compare that to like Alita? Because I thought Alita was good, but I didn't really like Ghost in the Shell with Scarlett Johansson. I thought it was weird, right? So
I love Scarlett Johansson.
Well, I do too. But there was something off with that movie.
Something was really off about it. Yeah. It felt like she was like, it felt like someone made her do it because in like a hostage situation. She's like, do the road, do it. And she didn't feel like her heart was not in that movie for sure.
Artists do need to have their heart into a project. You can definitely tell when, it's not just actors. You could be writers, it could be producers, it could be the director. They really have to, be invested in it. They really have to be part of it. You almost have to be a fan, a total 100% fan. You can tell when an artist is really passionate about a project. You get better work.
Yeah. Got to get the Tom Cruise effect going with all our actors out there, right?
Yeah, Tom Cruise. I think he's a weirdo and something.
He's a weirdo. He's absolutely a weirdo.
But when the guy does something, like he puts everything into it.
Yeah,
like he does. You got to respect that. Jeez.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So I'm going to throw a different topic at you guys. This is not one that Kadish had in the notes. I'm trying to save those for if he comes back. But Brian, you saw I had an article in our little private group earlier. Let me see if I can pull this up. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. But damn it.
This is a link to YouPorn. What is this?
No, it's not.
Oh, that's the other private group. My bad.
Don't talk to people about that one, man. Come on, what are you doing?
Sorry, bro. Sorry.
That's private.
Download.
Oh. Big bouncy bears.
So here we go. I am upset right now.
Okay.
I'm upset because this masterpiece of a movie, RRR, got absolutely snubbed at this year's Oscars. Okay. I love this movie. I think it's so much fun, and I think it was absolutely worthy of some Oscar at least nominations. And I think it got one for a song. I think it was a song where they do the dance with the suspenders. Have you seen this? You've seen this, right, Brian?
Yeah.
You've seen it, John? You've seen this?
It needs more hot chicks, bro.
Yep.
I'm just being honest.
But
I'm looking it up now.
What is wrong with Hollywood when they can't acknowledge these movies that are absolute phenomenons? And it's not just RRR that this has happened to. It happens all the time.
It does, yeah.
But what's going on that these kind of movies aren't getting the industry kudos that they deserve? I don't understand it. I mean, I don't get it. So
yeah, I don't. You know what? I keep thinking all the board members or the Academy Awards, whoever's choosing the nominations or whatever, they must be just a bunch of fart sniffing, Sundance, bougie people that are really they don't like things that everyone likes. They like things that only a tiny portion of people that are addicted to Prozac like.
Right.
And And so we have always assumed that getting this award is a big deal because Hollywood makes it a big deal.
Mhm.
But I have literally never cared in my 40 years. I have never cared for one Academy Awards. Not one. I have never looked at it and been like, who's going to win? I don't care. Because we don't have the same we clearly don't have the same taste.
Mhm.
You know, that's like you go to like one of these reviewers on Rotten Tomatoes that gave Captain Marvel a perfect score. I'm definitely not tracking with that person. Like, so reading that person's reviews and seeing their buy off on something does nothing for me because as far as either they have really, really bad taste or we're just so far removed that there's no reason for me to look at that person as a critical voice. So honestly, the Academy Awards are almost like they're like the ultimate critical voice because if you get their buy off, that means that, you know, I mean, a lot of these movies get views and then they get watches and they get support after they've gotten awards, right? So, well, we've never tracked for 32 years. We've never tracked. So I don't put any kind of weight on them anymore because they always make poor decisions.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
I think sometimes they align every now and then, like with Titanic, for example, popular with audiences and popular with the Academy Awards. Again, Return of the King earned Best Picture, and so I think every now and then the audiences and the Academy Awards do sync up a little bit. But I'm with you that I've never really cared about the Academy Awards. I read who won the next day.
Yeah.
Last time that I ever actually really cared that I can recall is whether or not Gary Oldman had won for playing Churchill, and he did. And I was, okay, cool. I really wanted him to win for that. And that's the last time that I really cared. And the ratings certainly show that nobody's watching that. And I'm looking at Google about RRR. It had a budget of $5.5 billion. What?
I'm not sure about that. Probably rupees.
My guess is that it was Indian money.
Yeah, it was rupees, and that's about $700.
But you know, I mean, personally, I don't really care about award shows, any of them, really. My whole thing is just this movie. There are very few movies that get into the subconsciousness of people. This thing was just it was like this weird thing that just kind of like took over the planet for a little while. You know what I mean? It started out small and then the word of mouth got out there and all of a sudden everybody's watching this thing and everybody that watches this thing is like, holy shit, I've never seen anything quite like this before. It was a phenomenon. If you go into all the movie YouTube channels and you start watching these things, everybody loved this thing. Everybody. I can't think of like a single YouTuber that I watched that didn't love this movie. And it's got this rabid fan base, and I just don't feel like it got any love here. You know, it didn't even get nominated for Best International Release.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Wild. You know, so I don't know. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
It is curious. You know, I'm also reading the description, and you would think that they would, the people in Hollywood would be interested in a movie like this. They fight back against British colonialism in the 1920s. Well,
yeah.
How come the people of Hollywood aren't like holding this up as the bravest movie ever or something like that?
I know, bro. I mean, how many times did they say the word colonizer in Wakanda Forever? Jeez.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
colonize anything. What are you talking about? What?
What?
No. I'm just saying.
Oh, right.
If they said that to me, you know, called me a colonizer, right? I didn't colonize anything. What?
Colonized your mom? What?
All right. Well, enough of that, I guess. Hollywood just doesn't respect fun movies anymore.
Not India. They never respected any of that.
I guess if it has subtitles, if it's not any international category. We're
you
just not
can't-
going to get nominated, right?
It needed to have subtitles, and part of the subtitles needed to be like in Braille.
Yeah, something. Basically, the Academy Awards are irrelevant to me. It's
Irrelevant.
and once again, their ratings are gonna keep going down. I think they're getting relegated to a streaming service pretty soon, right? I don't know.
You know what's hilarious is the only time I've ever watched the Academy Awards or any award show was because when they had certain people that hosted that I knew would be problematic.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I gotta watch this.
100%.
Not because of the awards, because I'm just waiting for someone to mess up and I want to see it live.
Right.
Ricky Gervais, greatest host of all
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, at the Globes, that was incredible.
That was I watched that live. I'm sitting there like this. I was like, oh
Yeah.
what? I'm like 2 a.m. I'm watching. I'm losing my mind. It was
that was awesome. He just like destroyed everybody and
yeah.
stayed up there and did the rest of the show. That was at the beginning of the show.
He was at the beginning of the show.
Awesome.
He got up. He if there is like Illuminati, they should have sniped him at like the second act.
Yeah.
And then he did the rest of the show, and everyone's just glaring at him the whole time. Genius.
Yeah.
And he loved it. He loved it. Yeah, go ahead, glare at me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hollywood being out of touch, let's just got to do this again. Hold on. Jesus Christ. This hosting stuff is hard. Okay. We're going to move on to the next topic. This is
right.
okay-ish stuff. So, Stephen Dorff, the bad guy from the original Blade, is not happy that they're making a new Blade, apparently. So they already made it, and they did it the best. Stephen Dorff is no stranger to railing against Marvel. The actor went viral in 2021 after telling The Independent that Black Widow looks like garbage and that he was embarrassed for his leading star, Scarlett Johansson. Now Dorff is back with fresh Marvel tirade, courtesy of the Daily Beast. The actor who flexes comic book movie chops opposite Wesley Snipes in 1988's Blade said he'd only want to star in contemporary comic book films if they were more like when I started and when we made Blade, or the few that have been decent over the years, like when Nolan did The Dark Knight and reinvented Batman for Tim Burton. All this other garbage is just embarrassing. You know what I mean? Dorff continued. I mean, God bless them. They're making a bunch of money, but their movies suck, and nobody's going to remember them. Nobody's remembering Black Adam at the end of the day. I didn't even see that movie. It looked so bad. So, yeah, he goes on and on here a little bit. So, Stephen Dorff, he's kind of correct, right?
Kind of,
yeah. The real measure of the success of a movie or a TV show is that whether or not it's watched years later, and people see Blade 1 and 2, not 3, as classics. They're awesome, with the exception of maybe a little bit of bad CGI. They're awesome movies, and they made them.
You didn't like Blade Trinity, bro?
Pardon me?
You didn't like Blade Trinity?
I wasn't a fan of Blade Trinity, especially when you read all the stuff that went on behind the scenes. Wesley Snipes apparently communicated with people through Post-its, and he no, you have to refer to me as either Blade or Daywalker. Like,
I'm sorry,
Lewis. What?
I know that's crazy, but it's also hilarious. Like,
well, yeah, it is hilarious. What happened in the making of this movie is actually better than the movie itself.
Right?
Maybe we should make a movie about that.
That was Ryan Reynolds. That was him pre-training to finally do Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was his first Deadpool sort of character.
They gave him more freedom.
Right.
I was really upset 25 years ago when they first announced that they were going to be remaking Blade for the MCU. How long ago did they announce that now? They've been trying to make this movie now for at least 5 years, right?
Yeah, a few years for sure. But I also heard a rumor, wasn't there some leaks of the script of the ending? I'm
sure there's been a lot of drama. I know they had to get a new director.
I saw on 4chan there was a leak of the script, and like Blade he gives up his powers or something to save some I guess the movie was almost like Blade protecting like this new daywalker little girl that it was like a hybrid or whatever.
That's what I heard too.
It was like Blade meets Mandalorian or something like that. And he gives up his powers to like save her and
okay, how do you give up powers that are like you're born with?
I don't know, like he drains all of his blood to like save her, and now she gets his power. He dies, but she has like his powers and her like hybrid status, so she's like a super daywalker.
Yeah,
I think
better than the original.
I think my issue with this is I just don't see how they can make a Blade movie in the MCU in the PG-13 world. You know, Blade is rated R to me. You know,
it's a hard R.
A hard, yeah. I mean, one of my favorite movie scenes of any movie ever at any time that I could go watch just that one scene is the opening first 10, 15 minutes of the first Blade.
Yeah, the blood dance.
The blood dance. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It's so iconic, that scene.
Talk about how to open a movie.
Character.
Like, like we're gonna you know, set your expectations right now.
Yeah,
this is what we're dealing with.
There's no way they can do that with this kid-friendly MCU garbage. With this, it's just they can't do it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I remember saw Blade was during the Spider-Man animated series of the 90s. And just wow, okay, he's supposed to be a vampire hunter. God, you're gonna have to tone this down so much that it's just going to be absolutely pointless. And Blade, I always thought, really needed his own universe. He shouldn't be part of the MCU or the Marvel universe at all, because if vampires are that powerful that they occupy all stages of government and all these big businesses, that means that the X-Men, Tony Stark, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, all these others are going to get involved into this war, and they don't usually. So Blade should always have his own universe, and you hit the nail on the head. It has to be rated R. Vampires must be rated R always.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Yes.
Completely agree. Just by their nature.
Can I ask, why is it even an option for them not to be rated R? Right.
They want to expand their audience. They want to draw in those who can't go to rated R movies
because they're monsters.
Yeah,
because you got to be able to go to the Disney store, so the little kid can buy his Blade Halloween outfit next to the Black Panther outfit.
Listen, guys, vampires, the way they live. Okay, this is it's not a good or evil thing. It's the way they live is they have to kill you.
Yeah,
the only way they are alive is if they take your blood.
Yeah,
which makes them by their nature, they're monsters.
Yeah, I think. Well, you know what? I'm getting an idea here. PG-13, PG Blade. I'm gonna go open a tattoo parlor, and I'm gonna have a special on familiar brands tattoos for little kids. Come get your kid branded with a familiar sigil on the back of his neck, so you can pick your vampire house that you want to put, right?
Hey,
they can even sell removable fake tattoos of the little vampire brands. They can put them on their forehead. I belong to this division. Is
you know that there's that new ink that it's called euphoric ink or whatever. It's a tattoo ink that it's semi-permanent, which means that it'll fade in like 6 months, right? And I had gotten one of the tattoos on my hand. I was testing it out. My buddy runs a tattoo parlor, and he's like, "Let me test this ink out on you. That way, get something that you actually want, just in case it doesn't actually fade, right?" And so I'm testing. I'm like, "Am I testing out this ink that is not like FDA approved? Are you like, and you're putting it in my bloodstream?" He goes, "No, it's safe, but I don't know how long it's gonna last." Yeah, that thing lasts like 8 months. The thing is, though, and it's completely gone now. There's no remnant of it whatsoever. If they can do that, there's going to be a time in the future where a tattoo lasts a few months and the age of consent is going to be like 15, 16. I guarantee it.
Younger than that.
Younger than that, perhaps. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't like this. I don't like the watering down of our R-rated characters for these MCU projects. I don't.
Well,
They're
Well,
gonna
what other
they're
characters have
gonna
got
ruin
going on?
Daredevil here very soon.
Oh no, Daredevil's already.
She-Hulk.
Daredevil's already ruined for me.
He's already ruined. They've
Yeah.
already cucked him out to She-Hulk. It's so sad. It's so sad.
It's really hilarious how bad She-Hulk was. Like She-Hulk was like intentionally bad, and people don't fully understand that.
Yeah,
it was.
you know, and even when Hulk introduced his son, I'm just like, oh my God.
Dude. And why did his son look like a buffed out androgynous twink? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like his son looked like every kid I see at my kid's school. I was like, what? The buffed out little 12-year-old. I was like, it's so bad. It was so bad.
The MCU's in a really weird spot. You know, I mean, I'll be honest though, I kind of don't care. I'm so over capes and tights movies. I think that's why I really wanted the Blade to be cool, and I didn't really. I always understood that Wesley Snipes was going to get replaced. He's getting old. I still think he could pull it off. I absolutely do think he can still pull it off. But that's what happens. You know, these actors, they get old, they get replaced, but you know, they could still at least attempt to make the movie cool, and maybe they're going to try. I just don't see it happening. So I think Stephen Dorff is correct. You know, I don't blame him for not wanting to be in these lame movies. So good for him.
Well,
Good for him.
he's sort of a punk rock dude, but
Yeah.
he's also not the greatest actor. I'm sorry. I'll say that right now. Like,
No, it's okay.
I don't mind the guy, but he's not the greatest actor. But to his credit, even though he's not the greatest actor, he is definitely a sort of a punk rock. I'm not going to conform kind of dude. So I'll give him credit for that.
Are we still live?
Oh, dude, Brie Larson got tattoos. No way. Yeah, I'm telling you, this new ink. I tested it and it works. It works. The tattoo I had was black for like 3 or 4 months, and then pretty much rapidly faded away.
Yeah.
That is the future of tattoos. Because the thing about tattoos is, and I have a couple permanents, right? But I got them years ago. I've always wanted other tattoos, but I don't want to get tattoos that I'm going to regret. And that's a big deal for me. Like, I don't want to get a tattoo where I'm going to be like, fuck, I wish I would have got that tattoo. Like, in hindsight, I wish I would have gotten a Stargate tattoo a long time ago. I've liked Stargate now since 1992, right? But I didn't do it because I was always worried that I'm not going to like the movie in 25 years. But now with these semi-permanents, dude, just wait. You're going to see me coming here with like salty nerd on my forehead and like the podcast bros and like a nerdrotic thing, random tattoos just for fun, just to freak people out because I know they're going to be gone in 2 months.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to do one more story and then we're going to get out of here. If we get out of here a little early, that's fine. But I think the show's kind of gotten a little strange today with data sleep and everything. And I just had a weird glitch to where my everything, it reset back to the beginning and I had to like hit the live button. So I don't know what's going on. The internet's acting all goofy.
Weird.
But
you want to talk about Mark Hamill?
Yeah, that's what I'm pulling up right now.
Cool.
So let's oh, this stupid thing. I swear to God. Sorry guys, please bear with me. Bear with
us, my friends.
So
there we go. Your insert coin tramp stamp. Oh my God, that's such a good idea. I might that my next semi-permanent might be insert coin, just to freak people out.
Just like a coin slot.
Yeah, but right above your butt, like your butt crack.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Or like what is the term for like arcade games? Like a player one or whatever.
Player one.
Yeah.
Bad. Ready Player One.
Ready Player.
There you go. There you go. All right, moving on. Mark Hamill stepped in it this week, guys.
Mark,
you know, he had the audacity to like a tweet.
Uh-oh.
He liked a tweet made by JK Rowling after she called this human being out. So India Willoughby was replying to JK over something, and she said, I'm more of a woman than JK Rowling will ever be.
I was like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?
And JK replied, citation needed. And of course, Mark Hamill.
Citation meaning like someone fact check this, please.
Yes, right. And so Mark liked her tweet. And apparently he made it out of context. He liked out of context. Push the like button, guys. I don't know. You know
why. There's a lot of reasons why people push like buttons. So, what are you talking about?
So, like social justice warriors and lefty loonies do, they immediately started jumping his shit and started eating their own. And it became a thing. It went viral. It went kind of nuts. They were jumping Mark Hamill's ass like nothing else. And we were all just kind of sitting back here with our popcorn watching it go down, right? Because it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. So then Mark, of course, he had to reply. He had to fix this or try to fix it. And he came out,
which makes it worse every time.
Every time. So he came out. I'm going to try to do this in a SJW voice. I don't know if I can do it my best, Ethan Van Sciver. I'm going to try. Mark Hamill. So what I liked about this exchange was someone speaking their truth to power. Twitter is, unfortunately, no place for nuance. It's imperative that I make this abundantly clear. I support human rights for everyone, regardless of their gender identity, period. So, I think the period thing at the end spelled out is a little cryptic.
Can I tell you why Twitter might be the absolute? Oh, you mean it's cryptic, like comma, period?
Yeah,
when they could just put period.
Because
also
some people have those and some people don't.
But maybe you don't put a period, an actual period next to the word period. Maybe an exclamation point would make more sense. And you're right. Maybe people that have periods. I'm not judging. Anyone can have a period, right? Although if I do see a friend of mine who was born a man with a period, I'm taking him to the hospital like immediately.
Yeah, it's like something wrong with you, dude.
Dude, you're not having a period. You need to go to the doctor. Like urgent care, stat.
Oh man.
What's funny about the Mark Hamill thing is, you're right. Never apologize. Although if you're going to apologize, you need to do it the way. There's a couple people have done it right. I'll tell you why. Daniel Tosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Matt Stone and Trey Parker. They did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Carolla did it right. And I want to say one other guy. I want to say, probably Ryan Reynolds did it right. Where these guys turn the entire thing into a joke, or in Daniel Tosh's sense, he was getting lambasted about gay and rape jokes, and he turned the apology into a giant rape joke. Where at the end of it, he was even more offensive than the original joke he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Or Matt and Trey Stone Parker, where they did an actual apology, but they apologized to their overlords in China.
Yeah.
It was genius. That's how you apologize. This is not how you apologize. You don't actually go and defend yourself when you didn't do anything wrong in the first place.
Yep. So I see him down there. Looks like he's ready to come back in. It's a big giant head coming on. So hello, Matthew.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. You sound terrible.
I can see your brain right now.
Wow. It's a big giant
right?
head. It's a big giant head.
It's a giant brain.
So yeah, man.
I had some computer issues. I tried to fix it, and then it said I needed to install these updates.
No.
So it's going very slow. So I hopped on. I'm on my Bluetooth headset, coming to you through my cell phone.
Awesome.
So I apologize for my my less than professional setup.
We've been giving people updates about your status, and we've been trying to limp through this as best as we can. I think we're doing okay. It's kind of weird, but we're on Mark
Matt, we
Hamill.
need you. Vader is insulting my non-binary homosexual status right now.
I think I got.
I'm feeling very, very offended.
Yeah.
Without Matt.
We definitely are going to get canceled this week. I think.
Yeah. You need to tweet about that, Brian.
I just did.
So nice to have you back, Matthew. We're talking about Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill tweeting out about JK Rowling.
Isn't it funny how you can get canceled just for liking a tweet now?
I know, it's wild.
Yeah.
And then he issued like the non-apology apology, and everyone hated on him even more for that.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone on the right is like, they're used to this type of behavior, so they're like, Mark, you never apologize.
Yep.
You just suck it up and move on. But he's not used to this type of behavior because it's coming from his own side.
Yeah, he's used to softballs, bro.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, they eat their own.
Yeah,
they really do. I mean, JK Rowling is even like a hardcore lefty,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been coming after her for her stance on trans issues. So
she's being pushed to the center real quick. That's the thing. And you know what's funny is a lot of my good friends, and me myself, I feel like we were sort of pushed to the center over the last decade. We've always been really reasonable about our opinions, and we don't want to offend anybody for no reason. There's not don't do that, but also speak truth to power, in Hamill's words, criticize lies and bullcrap. And
what's crazy is even if you're in the center now, you're considered on the extreme opposite end. You're considered extreme right. Far
That's
right.
What I'm saying. We've always been like these people.
Center.
We would have identified 15 years ago as liberals. But now it's there's absolutely no way I agree with these crazy people. So I'm being pushed to the center, and every year it's getting so crazy. The line's shifting, and I'm staying in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And for 20 years now.
Now you know how Bill Maher feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Maher.
I find that
wasn't he a hardcore leftist at one point though?
Pardon?
Wasn't Bill Maher a hardcore leftist at one point?
Precisely.
He still is.
That. And he still says that he is. It's just that I'm not turning into a conservative. It's just the left is turning insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And part of it I think maybe be his age. But yeah, it's just wait a minute. Just why don't we all just chill out here for a minute?
Yeah, chill, daddy. Chill.
And the same thing's happening on the other side of the fence as well. Not every conservative person out there is a loony QAnon gun nut extremist.
There's plenty of them though. There are plenty of them.
It's just there, and it's you either get labeled in with one group or the other, and there's nothing in the middle.
Right.
I had so many friends who would be considered lefty liberals and stuff. The best man at my wedding was raised by hippies in a commune. So I mean,
my mom.
So that should tell you, I usually have no problem getting.
My biological mom was a stripper who literally lived in a hippie commune where everyone was allowed to have sex with everyone all the time. And the reason I wasn't allowed to visit her for an entire summer was because she was living in this this orgy commune.
Yeah.
Where clothing was optional. And she has multiple warrants. She's the ultimate drugs, sex, and rock and roll kind of person.
Yeah.
To the point where she's now running a secondhand store who sells weed out the back in somewhere in the middle in bumfuck Oregon. So that's my mom. She's extreme on that side. And but her opinions haven't changed in 40 years. They're the same.
Kind of along that same lines. Have you guys seen the Paul Pelosi police body cam footage?
Oh my goodness. What is going on with that?
Dude, they were just in there playing paper, rock, scissors or something before the cops showed up.
It's so weird.
I mean, I saw that footage and I was like, what is going on here? And you can tell why Nancy Pelosi decided to leave because this stuff, leave her speakership and retire from politics, because this stuff, I think that this is going to lead to some major Pelosi-based scandal stuff that they can't sweep under the rug.
Right. Yeah, something was off. Yeah, a drug deal gone wacky. I believe, Jenny, right, you're right. I'm like, how does this make sense? It doesn't. Like, the whole phone call was weird. Like,
Paul Pelosi was in possession of the hammer when they opened the door.
Right. And then he had no pants on, and he was like casually like drinking.
He had like a beer in his other hand. Yeah,
it's so weird. The whole thing is weird. A lot of people tell me like, oh, maybe it was like a sex thing. I don't know if it was a sex thing. I feel like it was probably a drug deal gone wrong. He was probably buying pills or whatever. He probably partaked a little bit, and things were getting weird. And his drug dealer was less than reputable. Surprise, surprise. And he called the cops because he was worried about something. And when they got there, they were both sort of stoned. And the guy freaks out. That's what it looked like to me.
His drug dealer's trying to shake him down, so he got nervous. Is that what's going on?
Right. Yeah, he got paranoid. Took a couple.
But he waits for the police to show up before he attacks them. They looked pretty buddy until it got to the point where the guy just snatched the hammer and hit him.
Yeah, well, maybe the guy thought that Pelosi can talk the police down, and then when he saw that wasn't happening, he just like.
But the crazy thing was the police showed up on a wellness check. It wasn't like they were responding to like the 911.
Well,
they were coming by.
Yeah. The 911 call, the 911 operator was the most. Was she just brain dead? Like from like minute one of that conversation, this man is being held hostage or something. Something is afoot, and I don't get it. That whole conversation was where she was just like not understanding the situation. Why is this man calling 911 casually? Like, it doesn't make no sense, man. And she doesn't know who Nancy Pelosi is.
Yeah, this question comes to my mind. Why is the third ranking person in line for the president of the United States don't have any security at home? Right. Even for her husband.
Right.
Even if it is Nancy Pelosi, right? I mean, something strange is
the whole thing. The whole thing is weird.
You'd think they'd have like an army of social workers there to protect them from crime.
Oh my gosh. Wait. What if? Okay, conspiracy theory hat on. Ready? I'm gonna turn my hat around whenever I do this, so you can't see my logo. Ready? What if Pelosi was trying to have her husband killed to make her look better in the next election?
You trying to kill my channel.
But Pelosi's, but her husband Pelosi, whatever his name is, talks the guy down. Paul is like, "Hey, bro, let's not do this. Let's get some drinks, smoke a little bit of spliff. Okay, chill out." And he like casually calls the cops while being this guy's buddy. And toward the end, the guy's like, "I don't know," and that's why there was no security there.
But do you guys remember? So like this whole event happened on the heels of a different event where Paul Pelosi was supposedly driving drunk, got in an accident, and there was supposedly another man in the car with him who is nameless and who kind of disappeared after the accident occurred. So like he has this history of being with strange men in awkward situations that he can't explain, that they have swept under the rug.
Yeah.
That by the way, that's the sound of the book I'm going to write at the end of my life. Strange men with awkward situations.
John David, what do you have to say? Anything going on?
Oh, God. When it comes to politics, none of us know the 100% whole story. And I don't think any press is telling us the whole story. And they label you a conspiracy theorist, I think, because you're on the right track. If you're on the right track, he's crazy, he's nuts. You look at him; he's wearing his hat backwards. So that's
right. So he's clearly nuts. What was that one joke? Like I used to identify as a conspiracy theorist, but then all of my ideas started becoming true.
Yeah, I mean, okay, this goes back to Demolition Man. Oh, go on. That's never gonna. That's never. Gonna
that's ridiculous.
Is it?
it?
Yeah, like if you watch our Demolition Man video that dropped yesterday, we edit in real life examples of stuff that movie predicted, and it is bonkers.
It's really weird.
Like when that movie came out, it used to be like a satire. Parody, right? A satire.
Yeah,
it's not a satire anymore. It nailed every single one of its predictions.
Maybe there should be a remake of Demolition Man and or sequel or some sort of sequel or something like that, and just what we need right now is a Demolition Man-esque kind of film or story that is okay. Like we're gonna predict another 30 years, that sort of deal.
You're never gonna get it though.
No,
not because we're actually living in that prediction. It's impossible to get another prediction. I'm just waiting for someone to tell me that I can no longer use toilet paper because it's bad for the trees and to get my seashells. That's what I'm waiting for.
There we go.
I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. And I still don't understand what the seashells do. How in the world do they work?
Oh, we talked about that. We talked about that in the video.
Is it controlled for a bidet or something? Maybe, I don't know.
There you go. That was my theory. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So like one's like pressure, tip, and
you got your pre-wash, your gentle little warm pre-wash.
Yeah, like
the second button is the hardcore nozzle that goes back and forth.
Yeah, the kind that takes your virginity, right?
Yeah, that one. And the third button is the air dryer.
Gotcha. All right.
That's my theory. Pre-wash, wash.
Yeah. Dry. So the wash is like the gentle thing,
shower,
and then the hardcore, like the police raid 1960s protest.
It's like when you go through the car wash and it does the thing on top where they ask you if you have a soft top on your car, you don't want to use this one,
right?
You know,
right.
And then the last button is the power dry.
Right.
I totally believe that's what's going on.
That's the only
has to be.
That's the only answer because
it's not dingleberry scrapers. Okay.
No, that's stupid idea. How do they clean them? Yeah, the seashells must just be icons that are like sort of, a lot of bathrooms have seashells. That's a thing in bathrooms. That just must be
old lady seashell motif for sure.
Why is there a line for the men's bathroom? I don't understand. Well,
I have a bidet, and just to be clear, I fully endorse bidets. They're fantastic. Although I've had my virginity now removed several times.
Oh man. Do we want to do one more topic? I think we should do one more, simply because Matt put this on the giant thumbnail. We haven't talked about where the hell did he go? Oh my god.
He's like, we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna go.
Okay. Let me find it really quickly.
Wait, you want to talk about that? I'm gonna leave now.
This is kind of a silly little way to end the show, but yeah, he's coming. Oh look, he's back.
Hey, welcome back.
There. Let me add this.
Hear me okay?
We can. You're good. You're good. I was just getting ready to share my screen. Oh no, he's got to put himself. No. You don't get to do that today. I've ran this stream into the ground, and we're going to keep it that way until we're done. Okay. God damn. Where is?
Did we cover the cancellations on the DC shows?
No, I don't like that topic. We're not going to.
That's a good topic, though.
No, I can't.
We have Brian on the stream, man.
I'm a hardcore
he's like
DC guy.
Yeah, he's the DC.
Well, okay, we'll do that last then. We'll do that last because I got this other one already up. We're going to talk about how George Lucas almost made General Grievous Darth Maul in disguise. This is riveting stuff, guys. Riveting stuff. How would that have changed the whole outlook of Star Wars if the twist at the end was General Grievous was really Darth Maul?
Is Grievous the ones with like the multiple arms?
Yeah.
In
those Terabad prequel movies.
Yeah, I hated that character so much.
It would have actually like made the final confrontation between Obi-Wan and Grievous like mean something. Like just introducing the new character is just like okay, but like if there had been like that type of history there between the two, like that would have made it so much more poignant, and it would have also solidified Grievous's motivations. you know.
So are you
fighting.
saying that from a writing perspective, it would have made way more sense to make General Grievous the mechanical embodiment of Darth Maul?
Darth Maul. Well, you know, from a writing perspective, so like, you know, you have this half organic, half mechanical being who's kind of like the foreshadow of what Anakin eventually becomes, who knows how to wield lightsabers, especially dual lightsabers, right? So like, and he's supposed to be the main bad guy of, you know, the third movie in the prequels. So like having that through line where like, you know, Darth Maul comes back for revenge and explains how he like is able to use like lightsabers and stuff like that, because it was based off of the Gendry Tartakovsky Clone Wars shorts, where General Grievous was a very different type of character. He was actually scary in those shorts. And I feel like they watered him down for the movies. But George Lucas seriously considered this for like a long time, and his production designers were kind of pushing him towards that. But he decided that like, nah, you know, Darth Maul couldn't have survived that, so like we're just going to go something else. And then like later on in the Clone Wars TV series, these guys are like, you know what, we're going to bring Maul back. You know, so, what was that, John?
He's popular.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I saw Phantom Menace in the theaters, like you had all these people cosplaying as Darth Maul in the audience, and the minute he got cut in half, like they all like let out this like, no.
I was certainly disappointed by that.
Imagine spending all that time on that costume and then seeing them just dispatched from the film.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you. So like, you know, after all the criticism that Lucas got for Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones and stuff like that, like he was really kind of struggling to figure out, you know, like how am I going to write this stuff? And he was bringing in other writers to kind of like fix his drafts. And I remember I was at the Cannes Film Festival when Revenge of the Sith premiered there. And there was all this talk about like, you know, like how Lucas like really sat down and really like figured out the writing aspect of it and all this other stuff. And then we went and saw the premiere at the Grand Theater, and I was like, nope, he didn't learn a freaking thing.
No.
So the prequels were always kind of like this mess of a hodgepodge of narrative. And John, you're an author as well. You can probably back me up on this. There was no real cohesion there. It's like, you know, you have Dooku comes out of nowhere, zero setup for him. Same thing with Grievous. Unless you were watching like the Clone Wars shorts on Cartoon Network, like you didn't know who he was. So there was a lot of stuff that like in the original trilogy, you know, A New Hope set up a bunch of stuff. Darth Vader translated across like all three movies as like the main antagonist. Like there was a lot of like really well done narrative construction in the original trilogy, which is why it's such a classic. That was just completely abandoned for schmaltzy romance and nonsensical set pieces in the prequels. So I think that once Lucas got to the point where people were afraid to tell him his ideas sucked, you know, his stuff started to go downhill, because, you know, all the best stuff from Star Wars came from him butting heads with people who were challenging him to come up with better stuff, right? And in fact, I just saw this really interesting TikTok about how, you know, his original wife, what was her name? Martha Lucas.
Oh, it was Marcia.
Yeah, so like she was the editor on the original Star Wars, and she kind of came in and fixed a lot of the pacing and editing issues with the movie, because George Lucas isn't a very good editor either. And because of, you know, her contribution and the fact that she got like, you know, like half of Lucas's wealth and alimony and stuff like that when they got divorced, that's what motivated Lucas to create the special edition, because if he was able to change the original movies that she worked on enough, then she wouldn't have a claim to the revenue from those things. So that was the motivation for creating the special editions for Star Wars, was to basically cut his ex-wife out of like her profit participation so he could keep more of his own money.
Wow.
That's wild.
It's all about money. It's not, you know, it's also to, hey, we're going to get people's asses back into seats to see these movies. That's more money there. And, you know, it worked.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why they've never done any re-releases of the original versions of those movies, because then he'd have to start paying, you know, those people out of that revenue.
Did they change it that much to where she got completely
25%, buddy?
They
added
changed
new scenes,
they didn't
added
change it
special,
25%.
added new
think it was
special effects
25%.
to every single scene. Yeah, 25%.
Okay, so here's the deal. I have the DVDs that have the special edition plus the original theatrical edition. So I'm gonna have to play them side by side because I don't believe it's 25%. And there's a difference between the special edition and the remastered, right? So there was the theatrical, the remastered, and the special edition.
I think
So
there's like 12 different
when you talk
versions.
about changing it 25%, if you look at the special editions, right? Every single scene in the special editions has some type of added CGI element to it, which changes it from the original. So like the Mos Eisley scene where like they go into town and there's all that CGI stuff, that everything with new CGI in it is considered changed. So if you look at it, it's at least 25% changed throughout the course of the film.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the special edition, not the remastered, digitally remastered edition.
The edition that replaced the original versions.
Yeah.
Sean?
I was about to say that some of the changes, some of the additions were just so unnecessary, especially to Empire and Return of the Jedi. Like in Empire, when they're Leia and Lando, they're all racing to try to stop Boba Fett. You see, okay, there's not a wall there anymore. It's now a window, and there's Cloud City. Like, why did you change that? That doesn't make any sense. It makes a little more sense now that Matt says that. Also, the Sarlacc pit with the CGI mouth coming out. But one of the things that I learned most about the Star Wars prequels are you can actually learn a lot from them, how not to write something. And I thought like he had everything planned out when he did Episode 1, but clearly he didn't. Clearly he was making each film. Okay, well, we're done with part 1 now. Well, let's get to work on part 2. Wait a minute, you don't know what you're going to do in part 2? Cypher Diaz, who the hell is this? And then we're gonna, it's stuck. They should have included some elements of Episode 2 into Episode 1, like the hint that the Republic was falling into into tyranny, and we're gonna build a clone army and all this stuff, and then part 2 picks that up.
Yeah, ultimately, a little foreshadowing. Like, he definitely didn't have them planned out. You're right.
So that's the number one thing. If you know,
here's a perfect example of how they didn't have them planned out. I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't have had Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill's characters kissing if he knew he was going to make them brother and sister.
They didn't know. They didn't figure that out until they were in the middle of making Return of the Jedi, because they were going to introduce a new character, and that character was going to be Luke's sister. To which they figured out, hey, wait a minute. We have to introduce this new character, give them a backstory, give them time on screen to build them up and all that. And here's an idea. Let's just make Leia his sister. Okay, bingo. Problem solved.
We'll figure it out later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, they implied in Return of the Jedi that Leia, was raised by a single father, and she never knew her mother, right? Because like she only had vague memories of who her mother was. And then in Obi-Wan, the series, it's like, well, she never even knew about Padme. She thought that Mistress Organa was her mother. And she has clear memories of growing up with her, because like we don't know if she died before Alderaan got blown up. So just more proof that the Obi-Wan show just didn't pay any attention to the canon that was established in the original series.
Well, now
God, I hate that show.
In terms of Leia and her mother, neither did the prequels technically, because in that scene on Endor, when they say, "Well, what do you tell me about your mother, your real mother?" To which they never hinted that she never knew her real mother. She should have been like, "What are you talking about, my real mother, Luke? My real mother and father died on Alderaan. What are you talking about?" They should have said something like that. And just in Episode 3, when the twins are born. She's a newborn. There's no way she's going to remember anything.
Nope. But she's strong with the Force, so maybe she can remember stuff.
Of course,
force memory.
Yeah. But we're running late on time, guys, and we got another topic to do. And we could all sit here and talk about Star Wars for days and days on end. In fact, there's entire channels dedicated to it. So let me pull up this other thing, and we'll get this going here. Matt, you're gonna have to take this one because I don't really know what's going on here, but I'll pull it up. we're moving on to Titans Doom Patrol ending on HBO Max. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. So James Gunn's been getting a lot of flack on Twitter lately because of all like the cancellations of TV shows that have to do with DC and all like the movies that are basically ending to move his vision forward. And, Titans, which is the live action version of Teen Titans, and Doom Patrol, which were both series that kind of launched the DC Universe streaming service back in the day when they actually had a DC Universe streaming service. Which I still had questioned, like why, like what was the thinking behind that? But these are two shows that basically launched that network, and they've been running for about 3 seasons now, and they're each getting a 4th season, but they're all ending. And so a lot of fans of these shows have been very vocal online about saying like F James Gunn, he's stupid. Why are you canceling all like the best like DC shows? And Gunn has responded. He's like, hey, this was a decision that was made before I came on board. So basically the producers came out of these 2 shows and said like, hey, we saw the writings on the wall. We knew that we weren't going to go past a 4th season. So both of these shows are structuring their 4th seasons to be endings. So like they already knew that they were going to close these things down. But this is just more proof that HBO Max is kind of like clearing their slate of DC properties in order to set the stage for what James Gunn has planned. Now, I don't know how that's going to work out with all the Battinson TV shows that they've got kind of in the pipeline with the Penguin, and I think that there might be like a Harley Quinn type thing in the pipeline. I don't know. But basically, HBO Max is like, hey, we're getting ready to start something new, so we're cleaning out all the old stuff. And these are kind of like the last vestiges of the Greg Berlanti deal, where like he's got like the Flash, the Arrowverse, all these other shows where he was just producing like anything with like a DC label on it. And I'd like to hear Brian's take on this, since he's like our DC expert. Brian, do you think, because I didn't like either of these shows. Lord knows I tried. I watched 2 seasons of Doom Patrol, and I watched like half the 1st season of Titans, and I was like, these shows are garbage. I hate them. I don't see why anyone likes them. But I guess they found their fan base. Do you think it's the right call to end these shows, or do you think that the fans are right in being upset?
Teen Titans was absolutely horrible. That whole show was bad. At the very least, Doom Patrol was weird because the source material was weird. So it was meant to be weird. It was meant to be sort of a sci-fi thing. I don't like decisions that they made in Doom Patrol. I feel like they spent a lot of time on very small aspects of some of these characters that didn't matter very much in the comics, but in this day and age really matter to people in Hollywood. So they spent a lot of time talking about these very small things instead of focusing on the story. But Doom Patrol could have been better, but it wasn't bad. Meanwhile, Teen Titans, I'm not sure. I think the audience that it found was the cast-offs that left when the CW shows started to implode. That's the only real explanation I have, is that Arrow was canceled, Legends was canceled, Supergirl was canceled, The Flash is being canceled, everything was being canceled, and there, when a ship is sinking, the rats are going to go to the highest point, and when all you got left is Teen Titans, they're going to go there.
What about Stargirl?
Stargirl was actually pretty good. No, it was. It was actually surprisingly good. I thought it was going to be really horrible. No, it was like surprisingly classic Kino. But it makes sense, man. I don't think Gunn is the one, canceling this stuff. I think that I'm surprised. I think Teen Titans would have been canceled regardless, even if there was no change of hands. There's no way it was continuing to be successful, considering it's an ensemble cast. It costs much money to make. Doom Patrol is really unique, how the funding came from like multiple places, and one of those places is gone now. Like the CW, its version of the DC is no longer happening. Greg Berlanti is no longer running that setup. So like Doom Patrol is no longer being funded by like 15 places. It's got to be funded by like 2. So I get how an expensive show can't continue. Brendan Fraser also has had a resurgence in his career, and he was the voice of one of the main characters. I don't think he has time for that anymore.
Yeah.
So, Stargirl is the only thing here that really is sort of a bummer, because they could have gone for another 5 seasons easily, and it really is a charming, classically fun, sort of heartwarming story.
So, John David, you're a writer. If you were in James Gunn's shoes and you were handed this mess of a DC Universe slate, how would you go about fixing it?
I would seriously considering wiping that slate clean. Bear in mind that the DC has many decades, and Marvel too, has many decades of storylines that you can go through and say, so, okay, fans really like this one, fans really hated this one, and that's why I don't understand why a lot of these properties don't succeed. Why don't you go back to the source material and do what works? And yeah, but like you said, I think people just jumped the gun, no pun intended, of course. They and just where they were blaming him, which, guys, this handed before I even came on board. They were planning on this, and maybe it is better for things to end and not overstay their welcome. There's plenty of shows of whatnot that overstayed their welcome, that just got monotonous and boring, or just people just held on to it, and that should have stopped at season 5 or something like this. And to the fans who are bummed that it's being canceled, yeah, okay, I understand where you're coming from, but I think in the long run you'll be appreciative that, hey, we got 4 good seasons instead of 10 seasons, and maybe half of the episodes were watchable. It's quality over quantity.
So Vader, earlier in the show, you complained about the state of Marvel with Blade and all that stuff. DC has been an even bigger mess going forward. What would you like to see James Gunn come out with in terms of like his plan? Like, how would you like to see the DC universe shaped?
I think they need to just start over from scratch, just like John said. Wipe the slate clean, recast everybody, and then just like Denny just said in the chat, you start with a really great Superman movie, and you introduce some new characters and you grow it out from there. And that's really what they have to do. It's Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And then you grow out from there, just like they were kind of trying to do. But, at this point, they have to start over. And that's what I would do. I don't know what story I would tell with Superman, but that's how I would go about it for sure. Just start from scratch, start over.
Well, we know that the first movie we're getting in the new DCEU is going to be a Superman film. It's going to have a new actor playing Superman, and it's going to start with his arrival to Metropolis. And in fact, I think it's basically the pilot episode of Lois and Clark, with Dean Cain. But Brian, Vader brings up a good point, and I think James Gunn has publicly said this, where basically he said, everything starts with the Holy Trinity: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
The issue here is like you've got a competing Batman project going on, which tells me that it's probably going to be a while until we see James Gunn's version of Batman enter into things. Have you heard anything about like how they're planning on handling Batman?
So when it comes to the competing Batman project, just to note that the only thing that we know for sure right now is that they greenlit the second Batman movie, but there is nothing has started on it. Literally nothing. I doubt it's even been properly funded. So if Batgirl can be canceled and completely removed after the movie was done, I think that you can pull back from a minimal green light. And if James Gunn is in charge of the studio now, I know there's people out there like the Batman. It's fine. But if James Gunn's in charge of the studio and all you got is a sure, let's do the next Batman movie. All right, we'll just rescind that offer. You canceled and deleted a movie after it was made. You can't rescind an email that you sent to, for the Batman 2 or whatever. Also, I don't think that Batman was very successful. I know it made money, but I'm not sure how much money it made. I just think that if you're going to make your own Batman, I think just get rid of the Batman you have now. And it's very easy to do that. Unfortunately for people that like it, it should be very easy. Again, if you can delete Batgirl after the movie was made, you can resend an email you sent over to whatever his name is that's doing the Batman.
I don't think anybody wanted to watch that Batgirl movie anyway.
Right.
So
eyes. The thing with the eyes is like you look so shifty. I don't know if anyone wanted to watch the Batgirl anyways. It was no, but like look, why don't you just cancel that? It's done. You got your version of the Batman. Pull back now and create your own thing. You are the head of DC now. The decision was made to cancel those shows before you got there. Well, the decision was also made to keep the Batman on before you got there. Okay, so just pull it back and do your own thing. That's what I would do.
All right, guys, real quick. I want to give a shout out to all the people who gave us super chats in this session. Joker Voice, JT Gunn, Scotty Dub, Gavin Blackburn, 52 movies a year. Thank you so much for your support. We really do appreciate that. It's guys like you that have us waking up every Saturday and doing this show. And we really appreciate your support, especially Joker Voice and Scotty Dub. You guys have been so generous with us. We really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And thank you for that consistency. So let's go around and get some final words from everyone. John David, any final thoughts, and where can people find your books?
Morgalla.net, Morgalla. You can find it right there, and you can do hashtag Morgalla on all the major social media sites. And I think Hollywood is really waking up. They're really getting hit with in the pocketbook, and it needs to happen. They really need to wake up and actually give us things that we want to watch. I mean, you take a look at Top Gun Maverick is number one there on the list. This is the stuff that we want to watch, and there you go.
That's right.
All right, Brian, any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
It's been a fun show. You can find me on the Popcast. The link I put in chat for my latest video. We did an hour-long documentary on Galaxy Quest. So basically the definitive history of the Galaxy Quest is very good. Shane put his heart and soul into writing that. Go check it out. It is currently completely dead somehow. I don't know how. But go check it out. And our live show next Thursday. And of course, next Saturday on more Salty Nerd Fun.
Yes, indeed. All right, Matt Vader 74. Yeah. How did you like hosting today?
Oh God, that was you can never do that again.
It wasn't my call, man. It was
I know. I think we made it through. It is not something that I relish doing. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard work trying to keep everything going and trying to talk out my ass when I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I'm glad we got Brian here and John to take up some of that slack. Everybody can find me at Matt Vader 74 on all the socials. You can also I'm also working on some of the other social medias. We're on Twitter at salty_nerd, and we just opened up a Truth Social account for all of our right-wing lunatics over there. That's super fun. I think we got 12 followers or something like this.
Well, and we opened that account because we're now also uploading our content to Rumble. And no one on Rumble does anything other than Truth Social. So
it never lets me finish my sentences, but that's okay. Rumble. Follow us over on Rumble, guys. Salty Nerd Podcast over there. We just opened that up. Well, no, that's not true. We've been open there for a while. We're trying to actually grow it now. Soon we're going to probably be simulcasting this show and probably pretty much everything we do over on Rumble as well. Yesterday we just dropped our Demolition Man review, as we discussed already. That's doing well. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. Leave comments. Please hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button on our channel. And next week, I'm not sure which one, but it's either 1978 Superman or 1989 Batman. I'm not sure which one's coming out next week. So
in February, Yeah, in February, we're going to be covering the Tim Burton 1989 Batman movie, the Richard Donner 1978 Superman movie. We also covered an Indian film from Bollywood called Brahmastra, right? So like we're continuing, we had a big talk about RRR on today's episode, and we're continuing with the Indian cinema stuff because there's really some exciting movies coming out of India right now. And they're putting Hollywood movies to shame. I think in our talk about Brahmastra, we talked about how positive and hopeful and inspiring it was, as opposed to all the cynical stuff that we're getting out of Hollywood nowadays. And it was just refreshing to see basically a superhero movie that was like bright and hopeful, So that was a lot of fun. But sorry for all the technical issues today. My computer basically just took a crap on me in the middle of the stream.
Yeah.
And then when I tried to fix it, it said like you need to install these 20 billion updates and stuff like that. So
Vader looks like Max Headroom.
I love this app. It's so fun.
It is a lot of fun. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. And you can find links to everyone's YouTubes and social media and stuff in the description. Thank you all again for those of you who gave us support through Super Chats. We really do appreciate it. And if you guys want to get your name in the credits on Salty Nerd Stuff, start dropping us some super thanks on our videos, because we will start highlighting the people who do that. And we really do appreciate that. Anyway, guys, until next Saturday, same salty time, same salty channel. Stay salty, my friends.